Hello, my name is Dr. Clayton Simon. Welcome to the Marina Hills Animal Hospital Medical Moment. I'm recording this in February of 2021, and I want to talk about the vaccines that are being used to protect people against COVID-19. Now, first a disclaimer. As a veterinarian, I am trained to prevent, diagnose, and treat illness in all kinds of animals, but not people. You will not be getting any medical advice from me. If you're seeking medical advice, please call your personal physician. To understand how these vaccines work, we need to start with some basic cell biology. So check this out. Most living cells have an outer wall, and inside they have a nucleus. This space in between is called the cytoplasm. A lot happens here in the cytoplasm, but for this discussion, we'll talk about the formation of proteins. Proteins and the enzymes they form are fundamental for life. This character right here is the ribosome. This is the place that proteins are formed. The exact sequence, size, and shape of the protein is determined by the instructions which are stored on the DNA here in the nucleus. The amount of information stored in the nucleus is enormous. Only a tiny fraction of that data is needed for the creation of any particular protein. Before a protein is made, instructions, or the recipe, if you will, is jotted down on a piece of mRNA. Think of it as a sticky note. It will be used and then discarded. If the cell needs to make the same protein again in the future, another mRNA strand will be created and sent from the nucleus. If you're thinking that that sounds cool and amazing, I have good news for you. You can take an entire course on cell biology. They're offered in some high schools and most colleges. Heck, you can even get a whole degree in cell biology. And it's a field of knowledge that's growing year by year. But that's all that we have time for today. Some of you might be starting to squirm. Too much class time and you want to hear about vaccines. But before we can do that, let's talk a little bit about viruses. Technically, viruses aren't alive. They really don't do anything on their own. They're bits of genetic code wrapped in protein. They invade living cells, hijack their systems, reproduce, and then spread to go do the whole thing over again somewhere else. Some viruses are pretty benign. They don't cause much trouble for their hosts. Think the common cold. Others can be quite deadly, like rabies. Fortunately, we have good vaccines against most of the worst viruses. And now we have great vaccines against the new COVID-19 virus. The virus that causes COVID-19 has an outer shell which includes spikes made of protein. These spikes help the virus invade our bodies, but these spikes are also the target that our body uses to destroy the virus. Yay, immune system. Those of us who've been infected by COVID-19 and survived have formed antibodies against the virus, specifically against the spike protein on the surface. Some very clever people figured out how to train our bodies to make the antibodies to attack these spike proteins without ever having to be infected by the virus. It's called a vaccine. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines currently being administered to people are bits of synthetic mRNA wrapped in lipid. When injected into your arm muscle, these microspheres are taken up into local cells. The ribosomes use the mRNA code to make coronavirus spike protein. Once translated, the synthetic mRNA from the vaccine is destroyed and the cells release the spike protein. Your immune system attacks these spike proteins, forming antibodies and destroying the protein. Here's the good news. After the training received through vaccination with the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, about 95% of people are protected against mild and severe symptoms of COVID-19 when they later encounter the virus in the wild. Some of you are thinking, hey, this guy's a veterinarian. What does he care about COVID-19? Well, it's true. COVID-19 rarely infects dogs or cats, and when it does, it's really pretty harmless. Well, dogs and cats rely on their owners. They need you around and healthy and not coughing on them. So please, with the vaccines available to you, get your shots. The vaccine will not alter your DNA, and the genetic material injected will be destroyed after it stimulates your body to form antibodies. When you're vaccinated, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also reducing the chance that you can spread the virus to others who may be even more susceptible to the worst outcome of COVID-19 than you are. That would be death. This has been a medical moment from Marina Hills Animal Hospital. Remember, if you have questions about human health care, call your personal physician. As a rule, if you don't have a tail, I can't help you.